So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD, and today I have a pretty interesting video for you all with regards to the zombie storyline in Black Ops 4 with our premise characters and Blackout. Now, we've seen the title and we will dive into all of those specifics in a mere moment, but I want to give you some backstory as to how exactly these are starting to appear in game. So I'm sure you all know the premise characters are now available to unlock inside of Blackout on PS4 and will be available on Xbox and PC very soon as well. Just like in zombies, these characters have conversations with each other, which is amazing. I showed off a few of those in my video showing how to unlock the characters, and if you don't know how to do that, I'll link it down below. But what is incredibly interesting is that there is even more to this. And the fundamental thing to remember here is that Treyarch have given Blackout its very own storyline, which is going to unweave and become more apparent to us as the map updates and we get more characters, and there is basically a massive storyline in here which we have not yet uncovered. But when it comes to the premise characters, there is an entire new layer of storyline here which is being developed on top of the normal zombie storyline in the Ether and Chaos maps, which is really cool and a little bit surprising and confusing all at once. So I want you guys to let me know your thoughts down below. But you've seen the title and we'll be getting into that in just a moment, but the most important quote I feel from all of the four premise characters, which gives us some context as to why they're here, is this quote from Richtofen.
Before you accuse me, Nikolai, I have nothing to do with our arrival in this place.
So as you heard right there, Richtofen himself doesn't understand why any of those four characters are present in the Blackout universe. As we know from the Specialist headquarters, we know that Savannah Mason Mayer is the CIA operative and founder of Project Blackout. From my understanding, Blackout is a simulation created by Savannah Mason Mayer between Black Ops 2 and 3 to kill her sister. The Specialists are apparently clones made with Element 115. So a lot of zombies elements is bleeding into the universe of Blackout, and the Premise and Chaos crew both exist in this universe, and from Richtofen's wording, doesn't understand how he's got here. Now, you've seen the title, and yes, there is a Der Eisendrache Easter egg contained within Blackout. And whilst only the most keen-eyed of zombie fanatics will have noticed this, including myself, Takio's unlock item is the letter from the Emperor. But the Easter egg is that that letter from the Emperor is a letter you can find in Der Eisendrache written by Takio 1.0 inside of Zetsubo no Shima. How do we know that this is the exact letter from that hidden cipher around Der Eisendrache? Well, that's because Takio reads out portions of this letter. This is where things get confusing, because this is a letter written by Takio 1.0 in Zetsubo no Shima, being read by Primus Takio. How does that letter from Der Eisendrache exist in Blackout, and at what portion of the Primus storyline are our characters in before they're in the world of Blackout? I've not gotten all of the quotes from Takio reading the letter, but I have 85% of them, so you can hear word for word exactly how it matches up. It's insanely cool.
To my beloved Emperor, it has been several months since I last received orders from you, and I cannot help but say that I am at my wit's end. Since I landed on the island, I, your foolish servant, have continued my inspection and recording of Division 9's activity. However, despite being directly dispatched by you, they regard my work with suspicious eyes. As such, I have been barred from and forbidden access to almost all research areas. If he had not shown me the relevant papers, ordering me to comply to maintain security, marked with your signature and seal, I would no doubt have objected. I have never raised any doubts whatsoever concerning your judgment, sir. But I am concerned that these circumstances may prove a great hindrance to my mission. I understand how important the Alliance is for our righteous cause and final victory, but the influence of the German operating force Group 935 has become increasingly worrisome. Over the last few months, the number of officers they have here has increased. I cannot help but think that it is they who are preparing the plan. Judging by what I have seen, the research done by Division 9 has been far beyond acceptable. In fact, their aberrational methods of weapons research can only be described as abnormal. Not only do they use prisoners of war for living body tests, but they have also been trying to control the supernatural powers of Element 115. I therefore think that if we permit them to continue their work, dark crowds may soon loom over our great country. I, your foolish servant, will continue to watch them and will report to you wherever possible. I hope you receive this message. Your humble servant, Takeo Masaki.
Aside from that, we also have conversations, like I mentioned at the start, between each of the characters. Now, I don't have them all in this video, as I simply don't have enough time to be able to go and get all of these for you in as nice a quality as I have. But there is a very important conversation that Nikolai and Takeo have, which makes reference to this potentially existing after the ending of Blood of the Dead, as Nikolai references Richtofen's disappearance.
Richtofen does not compel us to fight in this mission, Nikolai. Why raise your weapon here?
I have raised weapons so long, I suppose it is habit. At least without him, reality is safe.
This is where things get very, very confusing, because he's referencing Richtofen, who's obviously dead after the ending of Blood of the Dead, but yet here he exists inside of Blackout, and some of the character quotes act like they are actually surprised to see each other, and they all don't really understand why they're here. But both Richtofen and Takeo reference that they feel they're in an Element 115 based delusion of their own delusion, rather than them being in each other's delusion, which is very interesting, and I'll play you some of the matching quotes and conversations that I've managed to find so far.
Ah, Takeo, sehr gut. I am pleased to see you've joined my delusion. I was getting anxious.
On the contrary, Richtofen, you have joined mine. The spirits apparently wish me to suffer.
Who put you up to this, German? Maxis? Gersh? Some other version of you?
Loosen your flight cap, Nikolai. It's compressing your brain. You never take it off, do you?
Your behavior is curious, Richtofen. I have never seen you out of your element.
Nor shall you. That's the trouble with Element 115. I am it, and it is me. Ah, there you are, Dempsey. I seem to have misplaced mine ray gun. I don't suppose you've seen it.
Don't look at me. My eyebrows just grew back from last time. Ask Nikolai.
What brings you here, Richtofen? An Element 115-based delusion, maybe?
Before you accuse me, Nikolai, I have nothing to do with our arrival in this place.
Hey, Tak, got an extra sword handy? I've been practicing.
Waving a katana around and shouting is disrespect, not practice. No extra swords.
But this is very, very interesting. You would assume that this takes place after the ending of Blood of the Dead, but we also have other things such as the Takeo letter from Der Eisendrache from Takeo 1.0, so it seems like this is a very, very confusing point in the premise cycle, perhaps a point which we have not seen before and is part of a brand new universe of zombie storyline. And in one aspect, Blackout is just seen as a fun mix of all of the great Black Ops characters together, but there is definitely some hidden narrative down if you research it deep enough, and I've seen a lot of amazing theories when it comes to some of the specialist characters inside of Blackout and the whole story with Savannah, Mason, and everything in the specialist HQ. So there is definitely a lot of really interesting and very confusing lore in Blackout right now, which doesn't really have its bracket set straight yet. Main points I want to get at here is that this has to at least be canon to the Black Ops universe overall, rather than it be canon specifically to the zombie storylines that we've had so far, because Blackout does continue the story of the specialist characters and the specialist stories, which is that sort of weird single player campaign. The fact that the crew weren't together when they entered this Blackout universe, they all sort of entered in their own time and just bumped into each other, makes me feel like they may have all come from separate universes individually. Perhaps that's why we are seeing the letter with Takeo 1.0 being read by Takeo himself. Another thing to note as to why I don't think this takes place after Blood of the Dead is that the premise Richtofen we play as in Blackout has the blood vial, so there's something else to be explained here, but I don't know if this is just something which is just a fun little addition, or there is actual full-fledged story which is going to become a bigger thing in the future or not. Let me know your thoughts on this down below, but I thought this was a very, very interesting video to make, especially with that Der Eisendrache letter inside of Blackout. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be very much appreciated, but never necessary, but I would really appreciate it nonetheless. And if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well to keep yourself up to date with the latest and greatest zombies videos. But thank you for watching. I'll catch you for another one very, very soon.